So I'm gonna assume you saw the first video because you clicked on this video about my Yu-Gi-Oh philosophy. Well, there's one thing I forgot to mention in my first video that I also think should be gotten rid of in Yu-Gi-Oh. And no, not just because I don't understand it, which in some ways is true, but because I just think it's a cheap and dirty trick. Many of you may be familiar with modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Maybe you just got into Yu-Gi-Oh! Or maybe you've been to a few card tournaments and have watched or participated in a few of your friends dueling. And they've used something called link summoning. Now, I've got nothing personal against link summoning. I think it's a fine summoning method, and if that's what you're into, use it. But I don't think it should be forced on you, like every duelist seems to want to do. Who nowadays it's like you're basically obligated to learn link summoning whether you want to or not. You're basically forced because as you have to in order to play modern Yu-Gi-Oh! To extend your plays if you're playing a deck like I do, which is mostly a pendulum deck to extend your pendulum plays. Or you gotta do it because everyone else is playing Link Monsters. But I think it's a cheap and underhanded tactic. You basically are forced to play Link Monsters even if you don't want to play Link Monsters, and that's why everyone plays Link Monsters. But I think it's a cheap and underhanded tactic because you can just endlessly spam out Link Monster after Link Monster after Link Monster, or without having any repercussions or consequences. It's just the equivalent of you playing a fighting game like Mortal Kombat or Super Smash Brothers, and your opponent using cheap move over and over and over again. No, I think Link is fine the way it is, but I don't think it should be forced on duelists. Like it is. They need something needs to be done. No, I just don't know how to explain it without sounding like I hate Link Monsters. I don't. I'd like to learn Link someday, but I've never been able to do it. I've tried Idiot Guides, I've tried having friends explain it to me, but it just seems confusing and complicated. And I've never watched the Vreens anime, which is how I learned. And because in the anime they were able to dumb down the summoning methods enough for me to absorb it like a sponge in my brain. But Vreens has never been released on Hulu or any other streaming service. And that's why I, to this day, do not understand link summoning and think it's a cheap and underhanded tactic because you can just spam out Link Monster after Link Monster after Link Monster and not have any repercussions. You can basically have an entire extra deck of Link Monsters and your opponent will just quit because they know they can't do anything to stop you from endlessly summoning Link Monsters.